Hey, how are you doing in sales? Struggling a little bit? I know the feeling. Tom Fazzard here. Recently attended a presentation by Dave Bear, one of Tom Hopkins' trainers. Offered some tremendous advice during his time. I'd like to share the thoughts I came away with from that. Hope I can help you. You may have heard a lot of these tips, but some of them may be new as well. Either way, it's good to be reminded some of these gems. First off, put the 80-20 rule to work for you. Dave says that 20% of your activity makes 80% of the difference. So concentrate on that 20%. Are you calling on the right kind of prospects? Do you have the skill set you need? Do what is necessary to ramp up your activity. But he says, don't get too aggressive right away. See, if you come right out of the gates with all sorts of ideas and techniques to employ, you may get burned out and actually cut back. So if you're going to add activities, techniques, or strategies, do so in a more controlled way so that you can stick with it. It's not like exercise programs. Second, deal with the price objection up front. Give it right off the top. In fact, come right out and say, hey, you know what? My product or service is one of the more expensive out there. May even be the most expensive. But here's what you get for the program. And then you list the benefits. You should be able to take the wind right out of the prospect sales on that particular issue. But if you still get the price objection, try this technique. It's one they teach in Tom Hopkins' program. You ask, can you tell me about how much too much you feel it is? Can you tell me about how much too much you feel it is? It can be very disarming. And Dave mentions that. They put a lot of thought into that statement, so make sure you read it just like that. Third, have at least 3 responses for all the objections. You know they're coming, so plan for it. In fact, someone in the audience asked, how many should you have? And his reply was, as many as it takes to make the sale. So make sure you've planned for your objections, you've rehearsed your responses, that way you can deliver them smoothly. Next, set a goal for the next 6 months. We talk about goal setting a lot in sales. And he says go out in 6 months. And he says write it down and commit. Doing so commits you to taking action. And as you view your goals, ask yourself, how am I going to accomplish that? If you ask how, you might come up with an idea or a plan which then causes you to take action. Well, think about that. 5, and which is related to that, change your attitude. We hear about a lot of this in sales too. Your performance, your overall activity is related to your attitude, your level of confidence. As he says, change your thinking and you change how you feel. How true is that? How many times have you woken up in the morning and just felt crummy? Did you have a successful day or even a productive one? On the other hand, you wake up fired up and charged up to take on the day. Remember how successful you were. Next, seek out new information regularly. In sales we talk about becoming educated on a regular basis. Dave likes to learn something new every quarter. And he says he likes to master it or learn it better than the person who taught it. Think about that. Now, I enjoy blogging, so I bought a program from Ray Higdon, who is one of the premier bloggers in network marketing. Could I someday be more successful or prolific blogger than him? Not necessarily. But it's a heck of a goal to shoot for, right? 7. Use a 10-point program for judging and evaluating yourself and your prospect. It goes like this. First of all, write down what you think would make a great salesperson in your industry. The 10 qualities. Then looking at those, give yourself a value. And be honest with yourself. Now do the same for your prospect. Create a 10-point scale for what would be the ideal or great prospect. You know your value. Now before each meeting you assign a value to the person you're meeting. add those two values, and if the total is at least 10, Dave says you should be successful. If not, then you may need to work on either your skill set or in finding a higher quality prospect. Interesting thought, eh? Finally, the last one, number 8, ask for referrals. How often do you do that? It can be something as simple as, you know anyone who could benefit from my product or service? Another twist I've heard is interesting, where you ask, or you say to the person, you know, I know you're not interested in this product or service, you've already told me that. Can you think of anyone who would be? It's a rather disarming approach. Anyway, those are my, or at least most of the notes I got from Dave Bear's presentation on how to be a successful salesperson. I hope you gain from this video. This is Tom Fazzard from Wisconsin saying good luck in your sales career.